You're now watching a clip from the Inspired by show. You can watch the full episode on our YouTube channel or listen on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to head over there, leave us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it, and follow the show. Yeah. Now, speaking of like your love for the arts in many different forms, you know, you've been in a professional fighting setting for years. You've now doing it more as a passion with your martial arts. You're the first person I'm sat opposite on this show talking about fighting in any capacity. I'm dying to know from your perspective, what's your thoughts of this sort of new industry that's come about, which is like the YouTube boxing, you know, the more of the amateurs, but doing it and getting, you know, a hell of a lot more money for it, a hell of a lot bigger audiences. What's your thoughts?
My take on it is I don't agree with it. It's kind of watered the sport down. Well, when I say unfortunately, I'm not going to say that because it can offend people. Not that I care, but the fact I mean is there's an audience. There's an audience for everything. There's an audience for this, what we're doing. There's an audience for when I'm doing my work. And if it gathers an audience, and more importantly, as we all know, money is generated, and a lot of money is generated. People will draw towards that. Yeah, and my personal thoughts on it, I don't really agree with it. I don't watch it. I wouldn't I would never pay for it. Never pay for it out of my pocket to watch a live, pay-per-view event in it. But it's entertainment. It's probably, for me, it's just over WWE. I don't watch WWE, but I'd say because they're actually trying to hurt each other, I might watch the highlights. It's watered the sport down. Entertainment value wise, it's brought a new fan base, so on that element of it, it's probably improved, but I'm not really a fan of it. If you're talking someone like, say, Conor McGregor, who who's, as well as a businessman, he's a legit martial artist, maybe not as much now, even though he thinks he is, but that guy, he took our sport, MMA, to another level. And that is someone who, I mean, as a person, I'm not sure, but as a businessman, I take my hat off to him. And when you look at it from that context, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, KSI, whoever these guys are, I mean, I didn't even know KSI was before he started fighting. I swear to God, I didn't. I still don't know a lot of these new artists and whatnot. It's only when they've been brought into the limelight. And they haven't got the basic skills. You can tell the difference between a boxer who's been doing boxing since he was 11 or young age to a guy who's just picked the gloves up and you can tell. And the only thing that's kind of worries me is that these guys, they might be getting the results in terms of fighting wise, but it's a sport. It's a contact sport. And at the end of the day, you have to kind of cut weight to a degree, and there is that danger element of it. Because personally, I think boxing is more dangerous than mixed martial arts because of the amount of strikes you take to the head constantly. Brain damage. There's been loads of examples of people who have suffered and passed on, unfortunately, because of it. But answering your question, I'm not a fan of it. I probably watch highlights of it if I do, and the after interviews are so cheesy. I can't. I have to switch off. Because they're not real athletes, and I respect them to a degree. I respect anyone who gets into a ring or a cage to showcase off their skills. But it's a lot more about clicks and likes, and that's what generates the money. Look, I'm one to talk, because when I said to when I asked my son about 3-4 years ago, I said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And he said, "A YouTuber," and that broke my heart. Because when I grew up. When my dad or my mum used to ask me, it was always a policeman, a doctor, a lawyer, and I thought, really? And then I thought, you know what? You might be onto something there, because he might make more money than a doctor does in a year. So like I said, the age has shifted, things have moved on, and entertainment is not it's not what we used to think it is. It's entertainment is different now. And there's different audiences there for different markets. So yeah, but I'm not a fan of it personally.